Hi there, welcome along to our weekly boxing chat here on Sky Sports News. A bumper lineup this week as well, joined by Chris Eubank Jr, Olympic bronze medalist Lewis Richardson and our very own Andy Clark as well. Welcome to all three of you. We will, though, start with you, Lewis, given that you've brought the bling with you this afternoon. Firstly, congratulations. How are you reflecting now on that achievement of bringing home an Olympic bronze medal?
Yeah, obviously fresh home yesterday from Paris. Had an amazing few weeks out there. And yeah, coming back with a medal, super proud. It's amazing, like, just to represent your country at the Olympic Games, but let alone bring a medal home. So extremely proud and grateful for the opportunities that Paris and the Olympics provided me. And
particularly bringing a medal home, given that everyone else had fallen pretty quickly, which it probably added to your task a little bit.
Yeah, it was obviously it added a little bit of pressure. The media was sort of on GB Boxing, Team GB's boxing about a potential washout should I not have got the victory, but fortunately for myself, obviously, and the team, I was able to bring a medal home. I think we were slightly unfortunate with decisions, especially early doors with some of our boxers. But that being said, you know, everyone performed well, and I think everyone can be proud of their performances. And likewise for myself, you know, I boxed 3 world-class fighters, all ranked above me in the world, and was able to, you know, win the first 2 and then lost to the number 2 seed on a 3-2 split. So, yeah, extremely close, and overall proud of my performances and proud of how I conducted myself both inside and outside the ring.
I want to come back to a couple of those points that you just made, particularly about the judging in just a moment. But Chris was taking a very keen interest in that bronze medal during the break, Chris. And I want to touch with you, actually, on, we're going to talk about Lewis going pro a little bit later on. Part of a team in Team GB, but as a pro, you're on your own, and that pressure he'd have felt to bring home a medal is what you feel, I guess, every time you go into a ring and fight for a belt as a pro.
Well, I mean, yes, he was part of a team, but once that bell goes, it's all on you. There's no teammates, there's no help. You've got to do it. He's 27 years old now, so now is definitely the time for him to now go forward and use the platform of having that medal to push his pro career. You know, I was kind of in a spot when I was 21 where I had the opportunity to maybe go for the Olympic route, but I decided to turn pro. But I mean, amazing. I've held it. I've got to get a picture with it as soon as we're done with it, because that's history right there, man.
Yeah, I mean, just one of the things, the lines that really struck me on your Instagram said that you've been living the dream for 4.5 weeks.
Honestly, like, yeah, I've worked extremely hard to get here, but growing up as a youngster, you know, it really was the Olympic dream. I'm a sports fan in general, so to be rubbing shoulders with some of the greatest athletes in the world, and not only just rubbing shoulders with them and, you know, being almost a fan, but, you know, actually going out there and achieving things as well. Super proud and just grateful for the opportunities. Boxing in general, you know, but sports provided me. I've travelled the world with boxing, and, yeah, now it's a process of, you know, reaping some of the rewards that I've sown.
What I like about it, though, is that you have been living the dream, but you've just been saying in the break that Mum has brought you very quickly back down to earth.
Yeah, keep you humble. Obviously, returned home yesterday and Mum said, I know you're famous now, son. And I was like, Mum, I'm not famous. But she said, if you're ever out of line, you know, I'll still give you a slap. And I was like, yes, Mum. But now, yeah, I've got a great support network, great family around me. And, yeah, just super grateful and super excited for the future.
Andy, I want to come to you actually about the judging. So I remember being in Rio and talking about this, 8 years ago, and it seems a consistent problem judging at Olympic level.
I think in this Olympics, what I've found frustrating about it is that although there haven't been too many out-and-out screamers, there have been too many what I would describe as 2-1 muggings, where you get to the end of the fight and it's been a good close fight, but it's not been that hard to score, and one fighter I felt has won 2 rounds to 1, and then the other fighter's got the decision. People tend to paper over that and say, well, it's 2-1, it was close. Well, it's a 3-round fight. You know, 2-1's going to be a fairly prevalent score. I thought that happened to him in his semi-final. He's not dwelling on it. I thought it happened to a few GB fighters and other fighters from around the world too. But in a sport where you have judges, you're always going to get that kind of controversy.
Did you feel you had it when you fought Marco Verde in that semi-final?
Yeah, personally I did. I really dislike the term robbery, and Andy's not used that. And I don't like to sort of highlight that word because, you know, boxing's a very subjective sport. But that being said, of course, if you feel like you won the fight, and if you have won a fight, you should deserve to get a decision. But as I say, overall, most importantly, I'm happy with my performances. I had 3 really strong opponents and boxed very well throughout. So I'm happy with the way I conducted myself. I could have, kicked up a fuss after I didn't get a decision, but it's not really my character, it's not my style. So, listen, gracious in defeat and still able to bring a medal home. So grateful for that.
Was there a feeling in the camp overall within the Team GB fighters that not just you might have been on the wrong end of some pretty poor decisions?
Yeah, definitely. And I think you can see all 6 of our losses within the squad come on split decisions, and 5 of those were 3-2 split decisions. And you just think, when are we going to get the rub of the green? That being said, if you focus on performance terms, I don't think none of our team can be, disappointed with their performances, because all 6 of us, showed up and performed, and I think we sort of expressed ourselves in a positive way and showcased our skills. It's just unfortunate for the rest of the squad. It wasn't meant to be for them. Fortunately for myself, I did get the rub of the green, and I was able to showcase my skills once, twice, 3 times. And boxing Roland Garros in the semi-finals, special moments, in front of 15,000 people, and moving forwards now, experience for the professional ranks, and I'll be under them big lights, big pressure situations as well, like Chris has done so many times now. It puts me in good stead to be able to, back myself to perform under pressure and, be ready for the big stage.
What else puts him in good stead is the fact that he can talk, which so many other boxers these days don't know how to talk. They don't know how to be in front of the camera.
Thankfully, you're not one of them, Christo.
So he's got a very good plus there. Thank you,
Appreciate that.
What is the plan then?
Me?
Yep.
Enjoy a bit of family time. Just relax and celebrate this. It's been years and years of hard work to get here. Lots of ups and downs, more ups and downs, but I really want to sort of celebrate this moment with my family and everyone who's sort of contributed along the way. But yeah, make no mistake, I'll be looking to, make that transition into professional ranks sooner rather than later.
And what is the plan with you, sir?
The plan with me is to get active. I'm 34 years old.
You're feeling restless?
And I'm ready to get back in. I've been a year out of the ring. So, and really at my age, you can't afford to be doing that. Consistency, activity, that is the key, especially at my age. So we'll be fighting again within the next couple months. And over the next 12 months, we're going to have more than one mega fight.
Do you feel even more sort of restless and keen to get back in the ring, given how well you fought last September against Liam Smith?
I mean, yeah, regardless of that fight, I love the sport of boxing. I love the training. I love the dedication. I love the lifestyle. It's who I am. So I want to be in the ring as much as I can. And it's my life. It's my career. It's how I make my money. So, obviously being out of the ring for a year it's not ideal, but politics, promoters, business, this is all part of the sport. And, for whatever reason, I haven't been able to get back in the ring. But now we're past all of that. I'm with Boxer, I'm with Sky Sports, and we have the platform and the schedule now to push on forward and make these huge fights over the next year. Yeah,
you've spoken about mega fights. Any little secrets you can give us then as to what might be around the corner?
You know what? I mean, there's no secrets. The amount of names I have on my hit list, it's incredible and it's exciting. Domestically, we have great fights. Benn, Billy Joe Saunders, who I'd love to get my hands on. In the international seas, Canelo, Crawford, any of the world titles, the world title holders in the middleweight division, Lara. The list is endless. And now we have the platform and the freedom to go and make these fights. So over the next 12 months, watch this space.
Andy, to me, the 2 names that stand out there from those that Chris just mentioned would be Terence Crawford and Canelo. What fight would you like to see him in for?
I'd like to see him fight for a world title because he's been up and at that level for a long time now. It hasn't happened. And so that Lara fight is one that would really interest me. And then Canelo next May in the UK would be absolutely colossal if that could happen. I have less of a concern than probably he does about him being out of the ring for a year because he's always looked after himself and stayed in shape. It's not ideal, like he says, as you get older, it's not ideal because things do get harder. But long spells out for people who don't stay in condition are a problem. Then that's never really been the case with him.
I live the life, you know. I don't drink, I don't do drugs. You know, I have my little nights out here and there, but in general, I'm responsible with my lifestyle outside of boxing. So that's where longevity will come into play in terms of my career. My father retired at 32 years old. I'm 34, and I have no, you know, retirement is not even in my mindset, nowhere near close. So, yeah, a lot of big fights, a lot of potential huge matchups within the next 6 to 12 months, and I'm ready to go.
Yeah, two names to pick you up on there. Then Canelo would be one of them. I think he goes again on September the 14th. So when do you realistically think you could get in with him potentially?
I think May next year.
May next year.
You know, we were in talks with his team, him and his team, for his next fight. We couldn't come to an agreement. It was very last minute, and the numbers weren't right, the business wasn't right. And I've been out of the ring for a year. You know, this is not a fight that you take after having a year layoff. I'm not going in there for a payday like so many other fighters have. I'm going in there to win. And I want to give myself the best chance possible, and that means being able to come off of consistent fights, consistent camps, and then go into, you know, the biggest fight in world boxing at the moment. Not coming off of a year layoff. So I think activity, consistency over the next 6 months, and get this man in May.
Would you expect, in the meantime, Canelo to take care of Balang pretty easily in that next fight we mentioned, September the 14th?
I would. I don't think that will be too difficult a proposition for him, to be honest. And it does smack a little bit of a marking time kind of a fight. But what they know about him now is that, as he said, he will want proper notice. You can't put him under the kind of pressure that you can put other fighters under to just accept your terms because of the money on offer. He's not in that position and he won't do it. So hopefully that will make it longer term a viable option.
And there's only
one
a few
that needs to be thought through.
There's only a few guys that Canelo can fight. You know, there is not a pool of fighters that the public want him to fight and that he can fight. There's very few names, so I don't need to rush.
When you spoke as well about one of the other names that you mentioned and people who the public want you to fight, I think Ben would be in that category, and we know it's been a little bit of a saga. Do you still think there is a possibility of one day that happening?
Absolutely. You know, that fight will happen. I think that fight will happen within the next 12 months. Where, when, how, I can't answer those questions, but I do know it will happen. Ben is, you know, I guess my number one rival at this moment in time. The history, the beef, you know, what we've gone through together, what he's put me through, what his father put my father through. It's you know, it's a story. It's a fantasy. It's a fantasy fight. It's never been done in boxing. So that fight has to happen. It will happen. You know, huge domestic fights. They're hard to find. They're hard to make. They're hard to captivate. You know, usually you don't get two big names in British boxing that people want to see fight. And when you do, it's massive. That's one of those fights.
Fancy a new sparring partner? Particularly if you're going to fight a southpaw?
I was saying he's tall. He's very tall. I'm surprised you make the weight.
Naturally a middleweight as an amateur, but middleweight got cut out, so 75 kilograms got cut out. On the Olympics.
Really?
Yeah, so had to make the drop down to light middleweight, but it was tough. It was tough, obviously. Yeah, but made it, and it's worth every moment to be obviously at the Olympics and secure a medal as well.
So now you have to go from 3 3-minute rounds
all the way to 12. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think I'm pretty well known on the squad to be one of the fittest on the circuit. Obviously, a slightly different game, so I'll have to make my adjustments. But confident.
So when you guys have your sparring sessions, do you just do flat out for 3 rounds?
Yeah, no, we do between three to 8, but usually between 3 to 6. Okay. The odd time we'll do 8, but normally a couple tech rounds in between. So I'm confident I can make the transition well. So.
I was thinking about that the other day. I can't imagine going into a fight knowing I'm only going to get 3 rounds.
Yeah. As Andy was saying, it's a race, it's like a sprint.
You just go in and
hopefully a bit more controlled than that. But yeah, sometimes it is a bit like that. But
if in my mind I was only known, I only got 3-minute rounds. I just go out there and just, what do you do? You know, like, I couldn't imagine doing the whole.
The whole feeling out process.
Yeah, we don't have time, right?
Yeah.
I feel like you two boys could carry on talking for hours. Unfortunately, time has beaten us. Andy, Chris, thank you very much indeed for joining us. Congratulations again on that wonderful bronze medal. Thank you very much indeed.